Hello and welcome to Mangatore 96, and today we're going to talk about Classroom of the Elite. Today's topic will be a girl who is goal driven like a bull when he sees red, someone who is antisocial as she is brilliant, which is the reason why she was placed in Class D in the first place. I'm of course talking about Suzune Horikita. But before we start, here's the spoiler warning, as I'll be spoiling a lot of things in this video, so if you don't want to be spoiled, I would highly recommend that you go and read the light novel, as it is an enjoyable read. For everyone else, let's start with who Suzune is. Suzune Horikita is known to be the younger sister of Manabu Horikita, the student council president of the school on the first year arc. She is currently a second year student of the Advanced Nurturing High School. At the start of the series, she was introduced as the class representative and a student of class 1D, seated at the rear row of the class next to Kiyotaka and Nokoji. Despite her academic abilities, she was placed in D class due to her inability to work with others. Nevertheless, she strives for A class and will do anything to reach that goal. Suzune is a serious, intelligent girl who rarely displays any emotion and generally seems unfazed by most things, as proven when she remained unmoved after being treated by a boy from class 1C. She comes off as a rather cold and distant person to her classmates due to the lack of communication with them as well as her tendencies to distance herself and look down on them. Because of this attitude, she is openly honest about many things, which is shown when she admitted having no friends, as she thinks that friends would only drag her down. But this began to change as the series progressed. Suzune possesses an antisocial outlook which has led her to hardly talk to anyone except Kiyotaka upon meeting him and to not trust anyone, especially those who try to befriend her, such as Kushida. However, unlike Kiyotaka, who initially wanted to make friends, she was the opposite of him, as she disregarded it, thinking it was nothing more than a distraction and only thought of getting promoted to Class A. It is strongly suggested by Kiyotaka and her brother that her attitude and ability to work appropriately with people or her tendencies on focusing too much on her goal was the reason she was placed in Class D. Suzune is a hard person to convince, as she refused to accept that she was placed in Class D and set a goal to ascend to a higher class, despite it being an unrealistic goal that had never happened in the history of the school. This goal, however, was refuted by her brother, who told her that she has no knowledge of her lack of character, which is subsequential holding her back and should just leave the school. She refused to believe that her friends were needed to help her, though she did convince Kiyotaka to assist in reaching her goal. When Kiyotaka pointed out that her isolation towards others could be why she was placed in Class D, she quickly denied it but appeared to briefly ponder it being a possibility. While she is generally composed, her fear truly surfaces when she is in the presence of her older brother, who is also the student council president. This is displayed when Suzune does indeed express a sensitive side of sort towards some issues. She greatly admires her brother, but at the same time feels inferior to him due to his accomplishments compared to her shortcomings. She was shown to shake in fear of him as seen in the secret meeting when he nearly attacked her in episode 2. This was again seen in episode 5, where she found herself unable to talk during Ken Sudo's hearing and was only able to snap out of it due to Kiyotaka's intervention. Despite her disdain and cold attitude, it appears she can be a caring person as displayed when she has sacrificed 50,000 points to save Ken from being expelled after he failed a test. She explained that she did it so to further her own goals, but this event and her previous attempt to help him study suggest otherwise. Later, Suzune also defended Ken's case, and while she did criticize him, she firmly declared him to be innocent in the incident. She then displayed this attitude in episode 7, where she was shown smiling after looking at the email Kiyotaka sent her. Due to the time they spent together, she came to trust Kiyotaka as she made him one of the two boys in charge of guarding the boys' tent during the uninhabited island exam, after stating that she couldn't believe Yoshiko Hirata by himself. Her trust in Kiyotaka is also displayed by trusting him after discovering she was sick and unable to continue participating in the challenge. During the final days of the survival test, Suzune appeared to have grown in character as she came to acknowledge the hypocrisy of her previous views of Class D, as she realized her actions were the same as that of Class C during the fight with Mio. After she was taken down by Mio and found by Kiyotaka, she finally admitted that she needed alias. Once the survival test was over, in the anime she thanked Kiyotaka for his help in gaining Class D's trust after giving the credit of the victory in the island challenge to her. This time she displayed a rare moment of affection as she was both flustered and shy in thanking him while unable to look him constantly in the eye. In light novel Volume 5, Suzune understood that she would need to make friends in order to reach Class A when she saw that she wasn't as useful to her class in the sports festival, and even talked to Ken about what she thought, when Kiyotaka told her that she was the only one who could bring him back. She can also be a bit of an airhead, as she couldn't understand why her classmates were so shocked and making a fuss that she cut her hair. As of now, she is still pursuing the path of self-growth and pays no mind or interest in romantic relationships. She is slowly breaking out of her shell and started to openly communicate with people after understanding the importance of working with others and realizing the limits of working alone. She also displayed humility after admitting defeat to Kiyotaka for a math exam. She confessed that she did her best and even defended him against accusation from their classmates. She is also above holding grudges as she proposed an alliance with Ibuki despite the previous encounters. As for her past, since grade school, Suzune always has top grades in class and being a paragon student. She was never tardy or absent from class during her 3 years of middle school and was said to have gone to the same middle schools as Kyo Kushida. Her goal is to get her brother's Manabu Horikita's recognition and acknowledgement of her abilities, which was the primary factor that led her to enroll in the same school as him, where, after being sorted into the worst class, which is D, she was shunned and humiliated by him, which strengthened her resolve to retake the highest class, Class A. That aside, Suzune is an accomplished student both in academics and sports, comparable to the likes of those in higher classes, where her main Achilles heel was the antisocial attitude and beliefs that other peoples were holding her back. This attitude that patronizes others has prevented her peers from getting close to her and even harbor disdain towards her. This led her to be a loner for the next 9 years, never seeing the error of her ways and repenting. This is before she attended high school, where she made some valuable acquaintances and allies, but bluntly never considered any of them as friends except for one. As for her relationship with Kiyotaka, in the light novel, the relationship is more or less similar to the one in the anime, as he tries to befriend her and get her to open up, but is constantly rejected due to her solitary personality. In Volume 10, she took the advice of Kei to heart after she told her that if she couldn't bring herself to trust Kiyotaka unconditionally, she shouldn't accept him to do the same and that the relationship would never progress past the surface level. Additionally, she ended off by saying that for herself she has nothing to fear from Kiyotaka but can say the same for Horikita, as it is apparent that she still harbors fear that he may betray her. In the second year Volume 2 short stories, it is stated that she values Kiyotaka highly subconsciously and wants to avoid disappointing him. When he wants to see and ask her to join the student council, Suzune felt obliged and wanted to make sure she did so and to avoid the chains of failure at all costs from happening, as it was an important request he had made her carry out. To her own surprise, she subsequently valued him and his words of wisdom highly. A part of Suzune wanted to learn more about the extent of his true abilities that Kiyotaka was hiding from her. More so, there was also the realization that there was another part of the former who yearns to have Kiyotaka, who is respected by her brother, to acknowledge her as someone who he can confidently rely on into the future. Suzune thought Kiyotaka was most likely the reason why she went to join the student body with a positive attitude. She acknowledges that she wants to cultivate and gain some experience by working with the president Miyabi Naogumo and the student council as a means to hopefully gain Kiyotaka's acknowledgement. In second year Volume 4, when confronted by Ichika about her relationship with him, Suzune admits that she had finally begun accepting him as the first friend she was able to befriend in school and talk to without apprehension in the classroom. At first, she thought Kiyotaka was just an average student, but he was actually much smarter than she initially thought, since the latter had gained a recognition from her older brother. Suzune declared to Ichika that from then on until graduation in their third year of high school, the former desired to continue understanding him better as not only her classmate, but as a close friend more than what Ichika claimed she knew about Kiyotaka. Unable to lie to herself anymore, she calls this objective her wish, understanding that Kiyotaka has helped her out on more than one occasion despite her failures. She considers him to be an indispensable person to her and her whole class, as well as an important comrade who she and her fellow classmates can do without. Additionally, she added that if he was in a precarious situation, it will be impossible for her not to rush to his side and aid him. She was willing to give up heading to her designed area and risk the chance of explosion in the uninhabited island exam by letting her position drop, also that she can try to save her friend from whatever unknown danger that lay ahead in 12 involving his possible explosion. She was revealed that nothing seemed to have happened to him once she eventually met up with him in 12. That didn't stop her from constantly eyeing and asking him if he was truly fine. She was grateful to Ichika for presenting her the opportunity to reflect on how she wanted the relationship between her and Kiyotaka to progress in the future. As of Year 2, Volume 4.5, Suzune has found out about Kiyotaka's escapade on the rooftop during the events of Year 1, Volume 7. She questioned herself why she hadn't grown suspicious that Ryuen suddenly stopped attacking their class, but didn't question the validity of Ibuki after she told her that Kiyotaka single-handedly stopped Ryuen and his accomplices. With this, I covered everything that I wanted to cover on Suzune. And that will be all for this video. If you like this video, leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments below, or subscribe to the channel for more manga reviews and One Piece content. And until next time, take care.